Hello, I'm James Morehead, Poet Laureate of Dublin, California, author of 3 collections of poetry, and host of the Viewless Wings Poetry Podcast. Imposter syndrome. It's that nagging voice that whispers, "You're not good enough. You don't belong here." It's a feeling familiar to many, but perhaps none more so than those who straddle 2 seemingly disparate worlds. The doctor who paints in secret, an engineer who writes their novel late into the night, the product manager who dreams of sharing poetry with the world. I am one of those people. By day, I'm immersed in the fast-paced, complex, analytical realm of Silicon Valley product management. But since I was a teenager in high school, I've been something else, a poet. For years, I kept these 2 lives separate. Poetry was my hidden passion, something I shared with friends and family, unsure how my colleagues at work would react, and not feeling I'd earned a seat at a table of artists. It took time, courage, and especially a push from an artist friend to finally embrace the duality of my existence and step out of the poetry closet. Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Big Magic, eloquently captures this struggle. The universe buries strange jewels deep within us all, and then stands back to see if we can find them. For me, unearthing these strange jewels began with a simple realization. My professional life and my poetic life were not competing forces, but rather complementary halves of a whole. My work as a computer engineer and now a product manager have honed my analytical skills, attention to detail, and ability to structure complex ideas. Writing poetry shares some of these traits, an intense focus on detail, along with unbounded creative discovery. Likewise, computer engineering and product management are creative endeavors. My professional life and poetic life are distinct, but not as different as I'd originally believed. Embracing poetry as an equal has, in turn, enriched my professional life. Writing poetry provides a sanctuary from the intense stress of my professional life, and in my professional life, it has positioned me as a creative person. But I'm not alone in this struggle. If you too find yourself leading a double life, I encourage you to embrace the fullness of your identity. Acknowledge your fears. The fear of judgment is real, but it doesn't have to hold you back. Recognize that your creative self is just as valid as your professional self. Expand your network. Seek out fellow creatives who understand the unique challenges and joys of balancing multiple passions. And share your work. Take that leap of faith and share what you create with the world. For poets, find an open mic night. Submit your poems to a literary magazine, or start a blog to share your creative journey. As poet Maya Angelou famously said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." I'm going to close with a poem from my latest book, The Plague Doctor, that captures that sense of being an imposter. If the feeling I try to capture in this poem resonates, know that the feeling of being an imposter is common when going outside of your comfort zone. Rather than being frozen by that feeling, embrace that feeling as a sign that you are pushing yourself in a good way. When you perform my autopsy, be prepared, for hidden beneath the clean-shaven skin are gears, actuators, circuits, and optics. You'll find eyes made of glass that blink and dilate, perform the perfect wink, and when called for, even moisten with a tear. My fingers caress, dip cookies into milk, and delicately crack eggs just like yours, but each knuckle is titanium, not bone. And if you creep behind me on a carpeted floor, you'll hear motors whir as we walk in step. I had to be wired up, you see, because a momentary lapse in judgment took my body but spared my mind. But I'm a Potemkin village of a man, an illusion so real I haven't been outed for what I really am, an imposter, a shadow, an automaton with blood replaced by oil for hydraulic muscles, and my memory merely quantum sparks that will vanish when fusion's chain reaction ends. Perhaps that's why I lie awake each night, staring unblinking into darkness, having forgotten how to sleep, my mind racing at the speed of light, trying to solve the world's problems, queued up to infinity. And that's the last poem in my latest book, The Plague Doctor. I hope this helps you tackle imposter syndrome head on.